Because I honestly don't know why. But anyway, while you're looking for that, uh, you realize that you're gonna have at least two, three properties later on in your life.
On average?
No, you're gonna have it. Like you're gonna own three properties at least. And now, if you
Assuming
decide,
inheritance?
yeah,
I
your
guess so.
grandparents' house, your parents' house, and a house in Florida.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you ever realized that
Bro,
or
I don't
not.
see this bouquet picture anywhere unless it was on
Maybe
Snap.
maybe it was on a story or something on
You-
Instagram. Because I remember I saw it on Instagram.
Oh,
She
maybe
posted.
it
Maybe it
was.
was a
That's why it's
story.
gone.
Maybe it was a story. But anyway, you realize you're gonna have at least three properties that you can either live in or rent out later on in the future.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't
I'm
count on
gonna,
that, but when you think about it, yeah.
yeah. I was thinking about this one day because because I was talking to my dad and like I think I mentioned it before to you like how I realized is like oh I have to get my Mexican citizenship.
Okay, yeah, I remember you
So
telling me about that.
that way I can legally own the house. So that way can have and in the future I'm technically gonna own two properties, the one in Mexico and the one in the States, possibly three.
Uh-huh.
And also, I was talking this about somebody else. You realize that's the only way, as of right now, we will get a house without paying out the ass so much.
Yeah. Definitely right now, something like that. I mean, it's not without paying out the ass. I mean, reality, we could get property for a reasonable price,
But
even cheap, but we have
yeah,
to live in the middle of nowhere or
yeah,
economically undeveloped area.
yeah. But as of right, yeah, I don't know if you ever realized that I kind of realized this when I was talking to my dad and realizing I had to get my Mexican citizenship and all that. And I was talking to somebody and I mentioned that they're like, wait, you can get that? I was like, yes, because by Mexican law, I am automatically granted Mexican citizen, eligible for Mexican citizenship because of the law in Mexico.
Uh,
Yeah, basically, at least one of your parents has to be a Mexican citizen. Doesn't matter where you're born. If they're a Mexican citizen, you are eligible for Mexican citizenship. So my
yeah, you
dad
were
has to do, huh?
you were telling me about that.
Yeah, so the only thing I think I have to show them is my social security card, my birth certificate, and I think my parents have to pull out a few documents too. My dad has to
Uh,
double check on what documents we need.
okay. Well, then there you go.
And then boom, two passports, which I think it's something that I no, actually that was actually episode we did one time. Is it worth getting a second passport and all that?
Mm-hmm. I
Which if you think
don't
because
remember.
oh like something about dual citizenship, I remember that. Because having two passports basically you have dual citizenship and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the more passports you have, the more power you have because you're able to go to more countries.
Oh yeah,
Typically,
and the strongest passport. I think we talked. Didn't we talk about that?
I think we mentioned it. It's not the United States
It's
one.
South Korea, I think, or that's the
South
second
Korea,
strongest. Singapore may be the first, I think, or something.
Singapore, or Japan. I think maybe the
South
U.S.
Korea is second, I think.
I know America, despite not being the most powerful, despite to what a lot of people would naturally assume, it's in the top 10 though.
Uh huh.
But anyway, so actually, hold on. I need to pull this thing up that you sent me. Let me see. I want to say something so bad to the conversation they're all having, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna start a bigger file in that conversation.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that one. Oh, I hadn't looked at it at the minute.
I want to say
What are they
something
doing?
so bad in it, but I'm like, Brandon, don't start a file. Hold on, here. Go to the doc, and I'll do. And that was the website you sent me. We have to do one more, but there we go. Copy, paste. Let's see.
You doing? What's going on in the dock here?
Yeah. Oh, I hold on. I'm actually about to start I'm about to click random conversation because today Blaine wanted to do a conversation starter from a website called conversationstarter.com, and he got this from Good Mythical Morning by Red and Link.
Well, Ear Biscuits by Red Link, which do
Okay.
Good Mythical Morning, one of the most popular YouTube shows, and so yeah, there you go. I think it would be cool just to have a rabbit hole episode, and this involves us also taking stuff and looking it up and
Yeah.
like things like that as well.
And I'm gonna hit the random conversation generator. Let's see. What is your least favorite part of your day?
You know what? And I forgot about this. I listened to another uh episode with them, and they went down the rabbit hole again, but he found a better one, and it was using that one. Oh no! Can we take a sabbatical here at 5 minutes and 40 seconds to do that?
Yeah.
Bam.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So the reason Blaine did that is because he made a little. Because we wanted to look something up, so he went to he was typing in the time I need to cut in and out and all that, and that got me off on a little side tangent. We can honestly make this a whole episode, but like probably July, probably June or July, I was honestly feeling like unmotivated, unproductive, like I wasn't doing crap. So what I started doing was I bought this a long time ago, kind of and I hadn't used it in a long time. And this is basically it says today's plan of attack. It's basically like organize making a list to do for the day.
That's
And
cool.
it has like 3 different categories. Most critical, would be nice, and not a chance. I've started using this a lot more, even for something that is simple as make my bed, do laundry, to more like important stuff. But I've also been using for menial tasks because I was feeling in a rut. I wasn't doing anything. I was like stuck in the same repetitive motion. Honestly,
Yeah.
like people may think it's silly just to make a lesson, like put something as simple like say brush your teeth, make your bed. But this helped me feel like I was accomplishing stuff because I was marking stuff down all the time.
It's about prioritization. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Besides writing it down, prioritizing it so you get the important stuff done.
Yeah. So
it's really important.
I was writing it down, like now I'm like that got me out of my funk and all that, doing way better and all that, and still using it a lot to try to get everything down. Now, do I always get everything done in a day? No. Could we make this into its own episode? Yeah. So most of the times I do. Maybe like once a week I don't get the whole day done because stuff happens or I feel lazy. But hey, this has helped me a lot.
There you go. That's cool. That's a good little tidbit there. All right, so we're getting into the. We haven't done this thing like we're supposed to be doing. Hey everybody, welcome back to the For the Long Haul podcast. This is Blaine sitting alongside Brandon, which is drinking water, and today we're entering the rabbit hole. And I was watching an episode, which we mentioned this earlier. I don't know how we're going to do this, but Ear Biscuits by Rhett and Link. They have Good Mythical Morning. A lot of people have heard of that morning show where they do all sorts of cool stuff every day of the week almost. And so, yeah, they did a rabbit hole episode. There was pretty much 2, but only the one was obvious if you listen to the other one. But so randomquestionmaker.com is what we're using. It was what they ended up using the second time Rhett did. And so we're going to try to take the rabbit hole on a couple of things, and we're going to see where we go, how far we go. So it's a time for a thing. So we'll see what it's like. Do you have one? See, we'll agree on to hit the rabbit hole on a question, and we'll go into it. So you want to see if you got one that we both like?
Oh, go! Oh, you go first. You go first.
Well, I have some I do like, and I wanted to know what you had to say yes or no. What I thought was better.
I only have one. My first one is: if you were offered the position of mayor of your city, would you take it?
And I heard that one on the other thing too. I like it, but I kind of don't want to talk about it because I heard them talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to steal the ideas or like say what they say, but subconsciously, right?
I mean, true. Plus, it already gave me time to think about it, which I didn't want to do.
Gotcha.
I also agree with a lot of things that they said. So let's go to a different one here. So I think this one's more interesting. There's a shallow one we could potentially do. There's another one I think is good here as well. So what would you do if you were the lone survivor of a plane crash? So let's create a scenario here. Like, obviously, there's a plane crash. You're the only survivor, but like, where do we crash? Let's say somewhere. Let's just say not an island because everyone says an island. A field out in the middle of somewhere in like the Netherlands. Let's say it's not too cold, not too hot. Let's just act like crash in the middle of a giant field somewhere with trees off in the distance and stuff. We crash. What are you gonna do, Brandon? I got some interesting stuff to say.
Well, okay. So typically, what you're supposed to do, it's not go that far from the wreckage and all that because uh, Air Control will at some point figure out that hey, this plane has crashed because whenever they take off and all that, it's supposed to be a flight plan and all that and all that. So
Mhm.
they will at some point know and start searching for you. So I will not leave the area of the plane crash. Maybe wander off a little bit, but not too far because A, I don't know where I'm at, and B, it's easier to see a plane that has crashed than a small portion out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. So, do you have a flight plan even for small planes, small aircraft?
I think you do. I think you do.
I would strongly assume you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what the rabbit hole is for. So, and in the middle of this, if you think about stuff, you can look stuff
I
up.
need to look up one other thing too.
So, if you look it up, I'm sorry, I'm hungry. I'm eating a couple Takis here. I've had this bag for like a month. It takes a while to eat Takis. They're rich. I like it. I like how it takes a while to eat them. So, what I would do, and this is one of the first things that come to mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we'll be okay. We'll be okay. They do
There is-
speak. They do speak English in the Netherlands, so we should be good too.
Well, shouldn't they know something crashed? It doesn't matter what language they speak. They know what's going on.
Yeah, but just in case, you never know if maybe somebody will bump into you and all that, or they'll be trying to tell you something. It's like, hey, anybody else alive? Are you okay? And all that. Like whenever medics get there and all that.
Yeah, I got you. So, if you're a lone survivor of a plane crash, so that means just other people here who died.
Yeah.
So, based on what's going on here, where you're at, we said not too cold, not too hot of an area, so that gets rid of my other thoughts based on hot and cold things. But
Yeah.
one of the things, I'm assuming I'm not going to get rescued for a while, and well, one of the things I was going to say is a real, I don't, controversial is not the right word for it, but it goes against morals easily.
Okay, I know what you're gonna say. It's a big taboo. What you're thinking about is like, would I eat the people in order to survive? Because I do have protein and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so you remember the episode of Rick and Morty that we saw what they he got the save replace in time button, and if he effed up, he can just redo the event over and over again. And then there was a part of the episode where there was no sound and everything, just music and all that, and he got a girlfriend and all that. They ended up crashing and all that. That was actually based off of a real event. I think I told you that, and I showed you the video afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. What did they end up doing?
Well, so in the show, they didn't exactly. I think they showed it kind of like they were eating the people. Like after a while, they had to eat the people and all that, and some of them were breaking down and all that because socially, morally, and everything. That's a big taboo in most cultures and all that. Again, most cultures. I think there's some indigenous cultures and all that, or some really
mainstream cultures. Nobody eats each other.
Yeah, the vast majority, yes, but
vast majority. Hell yeah, it's a vast majority. Do you know of any cultures that we talk about just on the news that have people eating people? I don't think so.
Probably really remote on that in contact with that many people, like maybe the Amazon and all that.
Yeah, that's some little shit. We're talking about 99% of cultures don't eat people.
Yeah. But so those people, they actually did eat those people and all that. Because they had to survive, and they were shunned. And whenever that news broke out to the community and all that, they were kind of shunned. So that wouldn't be my first thing to do because.
Well, it's not my first thing. You do that later because you're starting to starve to death.
Yeah. Good point.
Now, here's the other side. If I was able to have food and find food, I'm not gonna eat them for the shits and giggles. I'm doing that because I'm gonna die.
Now, here's the thing, though. That shouldn't be your first priority.
No, water should be my first priority.
Yeah, first priority. Wait, actually, I think that's the second. Actually.
What, behind shelter or
I think
alerting
so.
people? Well, it depends on where you're at. We're saying the place has a good climate, so shelter. It's
but
still really important,
weather.
but it's less
it could
important.
rain, and then you can get wet clothes damped. That can get you hypothermia and all that.
True. So it can get a little warmer and a little colder in this area, since we're assuming it's a good temperate climate. But shelter could be already handled because the plane has crashed. And so there ought to be some kind of shelter there. We did live, so it didn't blow it into a million damn pieces.
Yeah.
So there's probably something you can live inside of already at the wreckage because it's a plane.
Yeah.
And you didn't die.
Yeah.
Assuming you just sat in it and rode it into the thing. So if not, you have things to be able to make shelter with because of the shit that happened. Even if
Yeah.
it's like up into a spot, you could probably like you could dig a hole in the side of it or something. Like have you can create a shelter with what you've been given already. And wreckage just sprayed everywhere on that too.
Yeah.
So the answer, I would eat people if I had to survive. Now the problem, if it was in a cold environment, you could say the people would be preserved. Now, obviously, the wolves become a problem or wild animals, but so yeah, that sucks. Now, have to defend yourself with that kind of thing based on where
Yeah.
you're at. I mean, it's even. I guess it's even worse if you're not in a cold environment because the bodies will begin to rot, and you can't
So,
eat the meat. So
so what you
before
got?
you really get hungry, the bodies start getting bad anyway.
What you also have to do is you have to start remove them, get away from them as far as possible. Like get them away from you so that way you don't get any bone diseases and all that.
So
Bone
yeah,
diseases and all that.
so well, they don't have diseases. Obviously, they'll you don't want to eat them, but I
Well,
would
like
probably.
sometimes because if I remember reading correctly, like the reason sometimes you wear a mask and all that is because of the bacteria. Like whenever like people are handling their bodies and all that, so that way they don't inhale like any of the bacteria or anything that's inside the body. So say
Oh,
somehow something gets ripped up and all that. That's why. If I remember correctly, and I think the
okay,
longer it's dead, the more that happens. If I
okay,
remember correctly.
I see that. Well, I'm thinking because of the climate, we need to drag the bodies away.
Yeah.
Because if my shelter is going to be the plane, A, so it can be seen, but B, it's already made shelter. I don't want animals to come get me,
Yeah.
especially based on where I'm at, like bears and shit. I don't know where we are. We just set a spot, but I
No,
don't know.
well you said Netherlands. Netherlands.
So is there bears in Netherlands?
Here, hold on. Let's blah blah.
So I think, given I don't know how much knowledge of the area, we're about to look this up. You're looking it up, but I would drag the bodies away because I want them not to attract predators to me, especially to my shelter. And so drag the bodies away. Now, water is now really important. So I'm going to somehow try to be able to find water. We won't get too in depth about that, this little things, but that's kind of being. So what's like the apex predator of the Netherlands?
So it looks like they have the. I am still gonna mispronounce this. Uh, a Northern Linux,
Oh,
which
like a lynx?
links. Yeah, that's how you say it. So they have one of those. They have elks, European elks. They have some bats. Something
The
I'm not gonna try to
elks are
pronounce.
going to go to a body to eat it. I'm looking
They
for.
do
I'm
have a
worried
bell.
about
Uh,
predators.
Euro Asian, brown bell.
So yeah, apex predators. So there's like wolves. That's bad. Lynx and brown bears are gradually returning since they've been extinct. Oh, well, it sounds like
Oh
maybe
yeah.
wolves are the worst. I bet you a lot of the farmland and stuff out there, they've killed off a lot of these apex
Hold on,
predators.
maybe I was reading the wrong thing. Let's see, but yeah, so it looks like they do have a vast variety.
Yeah, it looks like um it's not very common. I wish they would reintroduce wolves into the UK. Wow. So it seems like
I know those. Well, I mean, if you count those wolves and never mind. Thing that's getting a little off
yeah,
centric and all
that's
that.
yeah, we don't get badger's the largest land-based predator in the Netherlands. Dude, we're home free for getting ate by stuff out here. It's just badgers. Besides, there's probably some other animals, but it's incredibly unlikely. And the wolf are the biggest predators.
So
Okay, so
let's see.
it seems like they've been pretty wiped out. So that's good news. I would definitely assume wolf somewhere would be bad. All right, so good news. We really don't have to worry about some wolves. We don't want to hang out too long on that point, but there you go. Other than that, I'm gonna need some water, so I'm gonna develop my shelter to be able to withstand some bad weather, and then make a plan for getting water. But like you said, I'm gonna go for shelter first, and in case bad weather does happen, I'm able to withstand it. And especially the wet thing. The wet thing is a huge problem, even if it's kind of cold. And man, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I feel like that does pretty good. Ideally, I
I
can find
was,
some water.
yeah,
I gotta sneeze. I need
go for it.
Man, something ran up my nose.
All right, so I just randomized one. It said, it gave me, what board game do you like the most?
I don't like that as a rabbit hole question. Like, how do you go down a rabbit hole on that? You know what I mean?
If you
Okay.
get rid of, if you get rid of the ward of, if you can get rid the ward of one disease, what would it be?
Um. Ooh, this one is. I like this one. This is a good rabbit hole-ish question. All right, I feel like. So, what are two things you would do if you woke up to find yourself completely invisible?
So this can either make you a hero or a villain,
Okay.
because depending on what you say, because like stereotypically, probably something that everybody would. Wait, hold on. Before we do this, is stuff you touch and all that or grab invisible?
We're gonna assume not. We'll just take this at face value. If you were completely invisible, so I would assume not, just you.
You could have run a social experiment if you wanted to, and just see how long it takes to anybody notice that you've just disappeared, gone, and all that.
Okay, so that's your one thing. That's
That's
really
something you could
cool.
do if you wanted to. You could do a social experiment to see how long it'll take for people to notice you and all that you're gone and all that. For you, it's gonna
And
be
what would happen?
you could do that too. For you, I think it'll be more probably like 2 days at most. For me, I think it'll actually be
2
maybe.
days. I live here with her. She's gonna notice me immediately.
That's why I said max, because I want to say less, but just say something crazy happened, like maybe one of you was supposed to be out of town for like a day or two.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Me,
It'd be a while.
I can honestly see it being a while because I have the bad tendency, and this has happened recently, to while I get so busy doing something, I accidentally ghost people. Now, I do talk to at least maybe somebody every single day, and actually, no. And it would actually probably be. It'll probably. It'll probably be the same day, actually. Wait, could we use our phones and all that, or no? Or like, no. Okay, no. If you were to do the thing, is like you couldn't talk. Like you just see if you went invisible, then you just did an experiment to see how long it take for everybody to notice you were gone. Then yes, it'll be a day for me too.
Okay.
But if I kept on like messaging people and all that, then they wouldn't notice for a long
All right.
time.
Next thing. So like, you got two things you're gonna do. One is you're gonna do an experiment to see what it takes people to notice you, pretty much, and like watch that, I guess, and just observe.
Yeah, why not?
I think it sounds. I think it sounds cool. I didn't think of that, but I think it sounds really cool. So what's your
Ne-
second thing?
Get on an airplane and go to Europe.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. I could just like be moving around the cabin and nobody will probably notice I'm there. And if there's an empty seat, I just sit in it. How is anybody gonna notice?
Uh huh.
The only problem is I'm gonna have is getting through the TSA. But I'm pretty sure I can figure something out.
You're
How to
invisible.
make-
You can walk around the metal detector thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you don't have to walk through it. The cop walks around it.
Yeah. So I should be as long as I just like don't bump into anybody, I should be home free and all that. And just get on the airplane and all that.
And even so, there could be a gap. Like next, you can just go do it real quick, and
Yeah.
be like, "Well, that was weird." Like, what are they gonna?
And don't not pay for a flight and just go to Europe and all that, sightseeing and all that.
Like, that's pretty cool. That's two things I didn't think of.
I
That's
know
cool.
that makes me think of what you thought of.
Well, my first thing is for personal gain. The very first thing I thought of, I was like, if I woke up and I was completely invisible, I could commit the perfect crime.
See, that's why I said, see, this thing can make you sound like a villain. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought that too. But here's the thing: that, no offense to you, that is the most basic answer I think anybody would say if they were given this scenario.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Even
I mean,
I
for
thought of it.
me,
Even
I-
I thought of it.
and you're so basic.
I'm not saying I am, but hey, I didn't say it though.
Well, this answer pertains to me without any outside research because I didn't listen to them answer a question like this. That's why I didn't want to do the other one. And so the first one would be if I was completely invisible, like I would go to like rob a bank, and because there's no way for there to be like evidence, you're completely invisible, and we'll ignore things like hair falling off or something, maybe a fingerprint. Let's just leave. That's not a happening item. So that means you can go and like you know take a bag of money or something. And now the only downsides to that is we assume. What are you doing a card opening at the same time here?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know, I just need to do something. I don't know. I just grabbed one, just started doing it as you were talking
Oh,
for some reason.
okay.
How do you think I
So,
was gonna distract you?
yeah, I'm easily distracted. So, yeah, the only downside, I guess, if we don't turn things invisible, like now there's a walking bag, and people will probably stop and look more than they're willing to probably attack and try to grab. But the good news is you'd be able to be in there and like load up a duffel bag or some crap, and it would just run out so quick they wouldn't know what to do. Maybe without you turning stuff invisible yourself, that makes it kind of difficult, I guess. But there you go, like committing that kind of crime. Maybe the bank's a bit of a tall order. Maybe you need to go. You can just grab money out of every cash register in town, and but the bigger the fish, the more you get to eat. So that was my first thought was personal gain. Then you can buy a
You,
house.
you know those one flaw with your thing, right?
What is afterwards having to like spend the money or mark bills and stuff, or
Yeah,
mark bills or spending?
both.
Yeah. Well, that would be one thing for
At
sure.
least you the well, physically, you have to spend it physically because you will not be able to you won't be able to like go
No, you
to a
can't.
bank and deposit it.
Yeah, you can't make any kind of deposit or anything because that's suspicious. I need to make a paper trail. So I'm gonna have to. That means every kind of smaller purchases I do and stuff will be cash based. I could pay my rent with a cashier's check. It makes a little bit of a trail, but that's kind of reasonable. Uh, I wouldn't do it all the time though, because that's where all that extra income from, and why is it not being subtracted from my normal money that I do? I probably honestly would think not to do that. It would be so hard to come back to me unless I do big stuff because there's no evidence.
Yeah.
I was invisible. I never left the house. There's no there's no visibility, right? Dude, that means I'd hijack a car. I'm invisible. I don't want to take mine.
I mean, yeah.
You go to a gas station, a guy gets out to do his gas. The one person who gets out and leaves a car running, you push him to the ground, you get in, you drive off. He didn't have enough time to get back at you, and not to mention his car just pushed him away and then drove off. You know what I mean? So there you go. That's more thoughts about what I would do. But yeah, I would all my small purchases and grocery purchases and stuff like that would become cash based. And everything like that going out to eat and all that kind of stuff, all cash based. So all the fun, small, leisurely stuff remains cash based. I would maintain the same way of paying bills as I do now, and do not arouse suspicion, which I think I could still have be more flexible than that. But I choose a really safe option. Absolutely. So next, let's see here. What else? I have to do a second thing. If two things you would do. What is the second thing, dude? I mean, I thought of that, and I didn't think really of a second thing. I can't take your idea. That sounds incredibly cool, though. What
Which
else?
one?
Um, like use it to go to another country for free,
Yeah.
but that's not cool enough. I mean, I know I really like the idea, but I can't use that. I gotta come up with a second thing. I feel like I had two answers to this so easily. What's a good second answer? I'm invisible, completely invisible. I think it would be crazy just to go downtown and maybe people watch and like get completely into random conversations by like literally sitting next to them and just hearing stuff and just being like literally a third person spectator to like all that. And I think that would be really cool. Ooh, you could like be inside of a business and they could close, you could stay. So like Six Flags or something.
Yeah, you can act like you're haunting the place.
Oh, dude, that would be really cool. Like literally go to like the freaking like I'd go to like the university here. I'd go to the library and I would haunt it and like take a pencil, like just a pencil band and follow somebody with it. That would be so crazy. Like it would freak somebody
No, no,
out.
no, 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 no.
Like
What you
just
do is when somebody's grabbing a book off a bookshelf, you grab another book, open it, and then walk the other way. So they just see a random open book just floating.
uh-huh.
That
I'm
will
just
freak them
saying.
out. That'll freak them out more than that whole pencil thing.
Well, I'm not gonna just do the pencils. Just I would start with something simple. Like
Yeah.
I would have like a floating object, and like that would be the thing. I'm like, that's really weird, and or like throw stuff at somebody. That would be really funny. Like bounce like something light, like a little pebble off of somebody, and like them getting like incredibly pissed. Like, dude, what in the hell is going on? Who was throwing this? There's nobody to be found because I'm invisible, and stuff like that. That would be really freaking cool, and it would be so fun to do. Okay.
Oh well, so I think that's it for this episode. Probably gonna make this a two-part, do some more of these and all that. Because it's like about what? Well, about like 36 minutes in. Probably
Yeah,
cut
but
about
there's
10 minutes.
but there's I mean, if you cut like 10 minutes, it's 26 minutes. But if you I guess if you want to do like a if you want to do a second one, maybe we'd cut it this one. We'll just do another random hole rabbit hole one later.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that sounds good then.
All right, Blaine, are you ready?
Yeah. Wait for me.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna start it.
All right. So if you guys go check us out on Instagram at For the Long Haul Podcast, you can go like us, follow us on there, give us comments, suggest things, any of that nature. You can also shoot us an email at ftlhpodcast@gmail.com. Like For the Long Haul, ftlhpodcast@gmail.com for questions and or like sponsorship information. And we also have a YouTube channel that we post videos for those of you who want to have that video going in the background, like background noise like Brandon likes, or
Mhm.
things of that nature, besides just having, if you want to see us, you like seeing people, like that kind of thing going on. You can look at us at For the Long Haul Podcast on YouTube. Now, other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in.
All right, you guys have a good one.
All right, we'll see you.